Hey everybody, I'm Dan Hodgman with Top Step, and today I'm sitting down with Dustin out of Des Moines, Iowa. Corn-fed trader. How are things going, Dustin?
Things are going great.
Outstanding.
Yep.
So Dustin is a funded trader here at Top Step. Young too, which is nice to see. I got a good beard going. And how's your trading been for you lately?
Things been going well. Just really focused during the summertime on making smart executions. Not trying to get too crazy with it because summer trading volume can be a little bit lighter, but just really trying to stay on straight constant course and not trying to rock the boat too much.
Consistency is key in this industry, right? We got to take our time. We got to, no matter what kind of comes our way, we got to be consistent. We got to keep plugging forward. So, Dustin, you've been with Top Step for about a year now, a little bit over. How long have you been trading?
I've been in the trading world for about 5 years, and I started last July, I think, with Top Step.
Okay. Always futures?
No, when I first started, I started trading penny stocks and options. It was really kind of in that world because I read a book by Tony Robbins called Money Master the Game, if you've read that, and started going down a rabbit trail. I was working at a Fortune 500 company. I thought I was in a really good position. I was trying to figure out how I could maximize my money in my 401k, and started digging in that book and realized, hey, there's a whole nother world in which you can grow your money, but faster. And so I took the mindset, well, maybe I could be my own money manager instead of having to rely on somebody else. And so I started buying like these large cap companies, your Apple, Microsoft, these big companies. And I'm like, cool, it's been a month and I made $2. Like, what the heck? And so I was like, what can I do to speed this process up? Because I've seen the movie like Wolf of Wall Street, this different stuff where people just make this goober amount of money a lot faster. And so I started researching and came across like penny stocks and some of these other people. And that guy took its course, ran through the penny stock boom, made a ton of money, and then lost it all naturally. And then I started looking, well, what else can I do that is a little bit more passive, but I don't have to necessarily be at the computer 24/7. And so then that's when I kind of found the options trading, and kind of went back to those large cap companies, but started trading the options on it because I realized you can make a lot more money in a longer, faster period of time. But then on the backside of that, I also learned, hey, you can lose all your money pretty quick too if moves go against you. And so kind of when the whole pandemic started, I had built my account up pretty good and my options account pretty well, and things are going well. And then all of a sudden the pandemic started, options went crazy. I didn't understand what was happening, lost all my money. And I'm like, I just need something where I can go into the market 1 to 2 hours a day, whether it's just focused on one stock or two stocks. So I started Googling, YouTubing, and I listened to Chat with Traders, which is a podcast, and found that's how I heard of you guys, because I listened to I was going through the second time listening to all their podcasts, and I was like, oh, what's this ad? So then, because you guys were tagged on the backside of the podcast, so I looked you guys up, and then that's when I saw, hey, Top Step is exactly what I'm looking for. And then that's how I got into futures, was, hey, this is an opportunity where you can make X amount of dollars in 1, 2, 3, 4 hours versus always having to be sitting there watching news feeds and being kind of concerned about that.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a huge difference. I love stock trading. Don't get me wrong. I've got a lot out there that I'm watching and I'm close to, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands. That list goes for miles. But then you get to the futures market and, you've got a small selection of them. And you can look at it and go, I'm going to trade one product only. And I can watch, let's call it the Dow 30, right? I can watch 30 stocks, or I can watch one futures product and I'm still getting kind of the same effect. So it's kind of fun.
Well, and I had the problem of like always trying to find what stock has the most volume. Where is this? Where is that? And that's why the futures market was so appealing, because you always knew those products were going to have volume.
Right. Looking at it, if you're looking for big volume, you look at the 10-year note. 10-year note's going to show 1.5 million, 2 million contracts a day. You can look at the S&P 500. That's going to be 1 million contracts a day. NASDAQ 600,000 to 800,000. you know when you're going to see that volume come in.
Yeah.
You know, where you look at a stock and a stock may show 1,000,000 contracts one day, and then like a week later they're trading 100,000 contracts. What changed, right? You know, earnings coming through or change of CEO or all the little nuances in a company has a huge effect on the stock, where the futures market, it takes a little bit more news to send the thing all over the place. So what products then, when you got into futures, what are the futures products that you like to trade?
When I first started, I think I traded them all. uh, it was all over the currencies. I'm like, oh, these move at this time, this gold, oil, all this stuff move. And then as I started digging into like listening to the Top Step videos and the podcast, and just realized I need to focus on one product and get really good at that. And so I started really focusing on NASDAQ because I like tech. I like, we're kind of chatting a little bit about
Yeah.
the different technologies and stuff nowadays. And it's kind of cool to follow that. So I trade a lot of the NASDAQ stuff. And I just feel like that has, in my time frame, because I do work full time, in my time frame, it provides me the opportunities that I need on a shorter time frame versus waiting too long.
I like that. I think that's a great way to look at it. It's, you're going to see more movement in 2 hours in the NASDAQ than you're probably going to see in the S&Ps. S&Ps may move a couple handles where the NASDAQ may move 50 handles pretty quickly. So you're definitely going to see that opportunity. What are the hours that you're trading every day?
Typically somewhere between 9 and 11, 9 to 12 are the hours I'm trading. Usually I like to trade the 9:30 to about 11 o'clock because I feel like after the open has happened, because I've traded the NASDAQ for as long as I have, I've realized you don't know what's going to happen in the morning when the NASDAQ opens. It's crazy the moves that you can get. You can profit big. However, I've come to learn that, those profits aren't necessarily always worth the risk because you can easily get stopped out or blow your account up if you're not willing to be disciplined enough to get out of those trades when they're not going for you. So that's why I like the 9:30 to 11 is because it's a little more structured by that point. You kind of have a trend on the day and you kind of look for those opportunities in there to in and out within your time
I like
frame.
that. I like that. You're right. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of money to be made in that first 20 minutes, but there's also a lot of money that can be lost. I mean, if you haven't watched the Dome on the Open in the NQ, I recommend pulling it up, or during a big economic release, pull up that Dome. Watch how quickly it disappears. And if you're not quick enough or comfortable enough centering that Dome and you're trying to scroll through and chase it, you don't know which way it went sometimes. I mean, it can be pretty hectic. So yeah, I mean, it's smart. I'm glad you've recognized that. So you start at 9:30. When you get going, what are some of the things that you're looking at? Do you have specific indicators you're using, or are you looking for certain price action? What are you using to determine a trade for yourself?
Yeah. So typically, like one of the first things I like to do, because I've kind of forced my schedule so I don't sit down right at the open to take away that temptation of trading. So I usually sit down about 9 o'clock. I watch the morning from about 5:30 in the morning until 7:30, and then I kind of do my daily work and things I have to do, and then I sit back down at 9 o'clock. I go through, look at the weekly, look at the daily charts, and then the hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute. And so once I kind of get a grasp for which way it's going, I like to use tick charts for execution, the 512 tick chart. So what I like to do is I like to find out where are the trend lines on the 512 tick chart and where are they lining up with what's going on with the 15 and 30-minute charts. And so I'll see if we're going in a constant, say downtrend, for an example. If we're going in a downtrend, I'll look for higher or lower highs and try to get in on that and put my targets down near the previous low, if that makes sense, as reverse if you're going upwards.
So you're looking at confirmation. You're using two setups. You're looking for confirmation. You get that confirmation. Direction is determined. And hey, simple, basic understanding of trending markets, right? If the market is moving in a direction and let's say it's moving lower, you're looking for strength. You want to sell strength. You don't want to sell the weakness. You want to sell that strength. That's exactly what you want to be doing. So I love hearing it. You look for those pullbacks. You look for those opportunities. Good entry, manage risk. And I have seen it. You've got great risk to reward in your trades. Your reward is more than double your risk. And that's exactly what you want to see. So over the last year, you've been funded before. What's going to be different this time around than the first time?
Well, I think not holding through economic events that aren't disqualified from Top Step. So back in, I think, February or March, one of my I lost my account because I knew that there was I can't remember what the specific event was going on, but I knew that, hey, this is going to be a market moving event. I heard you guys say, don't be in this. However, I was convinced, hey, if this goes this way, I'm going to make 100 ticks real quick. So I was in the position, and then it went 100 ticks before I could even pull up move my mouse from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen. I was already stopped out and lost my account. And so I just think that, like, this time, the biggest thing for me is focusing on discipline and focusing on, hey, don't be trading overnight sessions because it's not liquid enough. People with a lot of money can push those markets whichever way they want, which I've noticed, because it's like, well, that makes no sense. Why is that happening? But they keep it going. And then by the time the open comes, it's back to where you believe it should be volume wise. So for me, it's staying within that 9 to 11 o'clock time frame, knowing, hey, this is your dedicated time. Don't try to go up against, bigger sharks than you need to. Just kind of stay in your lane and focus on only that one small piece. Take your piece of the pie, not the whole thing.
I like that. I mean, trust me, don't get me wrong. How many times have I seen a CPI, right? Top Step, you don't have to be flat for a CPI number, but right now we're talking inflation. Inflation is this huge elephant in every trader's room right now that we're paying attention to that. So CPI number comes out, that's going to be a volatile time. And when you're trying to trade those, it becomes gambling. Like you witnessed, it goes so quickly. You can't keep up. If you're hedged and you're trading these positions and you're covered and you're hedged and things are okay, yeah, you can kind of weather the storm in those. But the way I look at it when it comes to things like that, there's an emotion, right? Everyone's emotion gets involved, and that's that first quick snap. Then there's a reaction. That market kind of starts to get back to neutral, unchanged. How often do we see these huge numbers come in? Market goes all over the place, ends up back to unchanged, and then the fundamentals start to play out. Then it's like, oh, now's when I should be trading this because fundamentals starting to fall into play.
And I couldn't believe it. I was mind blown because I was right. I was just wrong at the wrong time, Yep. And so what you just said.
It's hard to keep up with, and it's tough. It's a lot of risk to put on the table to try and keep up with that. And that's all right. And those are things that we live and we learn. We experience things in trading that, there's certain things I know I can and can't do. And, for me, I know I'm not if I'm trading after 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm probably trying to make back something I lost throughout the day, and I'm going to be doing stupid things. So I try to avoid that. All right. I got 2 last questions for you. First one, there's a lot of traders going through the program. You've done it now. What's some advice you have for them?
Some advice I have is find consistency. Don't try to, on your first day, don't try to, make $6,000. Don't go for the home runs. Find what that consistently looks like. For me, I'm pretty good at making consistently $500 a day. So it was, hey, I'm going to make $500 a day until I pass. Don't get too concerned about the money that's involved with getting signed up or doing the resets and all that, because honestly, that's peanuts compared to what you can make long term. And so do it right the first time, so you don't have to continue to go back and do it over and over. And so for me, I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just find your consistency and don't stray from it.
Best way to be successful in this industry is being consistent at what you're doing, whether you're consistently right or consistently wrong. If you're consistently wrong, you can start to determine where you got to make those adjustments. And if you're consistently right, I mean, there's no changes need to be made. Sit back and enjoy. All right. Last question for you. How's your experience been with Top Step so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Absolutely love everything that you guys are doing. Top Step has been huge in my learning curve. Just everything from the podcast to the playbooks to, all the funded trader interviews. It's just really good to hear from people that have been in the industry, and like yourself, you were a professional at a big time places to now being retail and just being able to hear the insight into the industry and being able to relate back to like retail traders and people that are up and coming. It's just been really good to listen to everything that you guys have had to offer. I love the structure of the company. I love how Michael's kind of set things up to allow people to succeed, but also fail in a safe environment versus, I could have spent $300 doing something on a bad trade in my personal account. Whereas here, hey, you failed, no big deal. Let's pick it up and keep going and moving forward. And just all the different resources from Eddie to you guys, it's just been really awesome.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that, Dustin. And thank you for sitting down with me. I look forward to seeing your name continue to be up on those boards and making some money. And hopefully it's a long, fruitful venture for you here, whether it's with Top Step or on your own. We want to see you continue being successful in this. So thank you.
Thank you.